Hi, everyone. Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. I know it's like there's so many people in so many different time zones. And I know I have like a large amount of people that are in Europe that watch. So it's evening there. It's for my West Coasters, it's still the morning. And for my Australians and New Zealand folks, I think they're sleeping. Although I know I have a few of you that are like always up in the middle of the night. So welcome, everyone. I'm so glad to have you here with me. Thank you so much for joining me. All right. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently today. So with this new format, this is sort of a housekeeping thing before we get started. Today, they have this cool feature on here where we can have invites. And so a lot of you in the past had really enjoyed talking by the phone. But on StreamYard, what we can do is we can actually have you join via video chat. And so if you are interested in potentially joining a stream later today, let me know. You can send me an email at withoutacrystalball78@gmail.com. And I think it would be something fun we can do this evening as a way to sort of pass the time. This is a really challenging time for so many of us. We are bored out of our minds and there's not a lot to do. And so a lot of you guys are looking for ways to stay excited and stay active and stay engaged. So let's try that this evening. Okay. So, all right. It's an interesting world right now. Okay. Let's just put it out there. Most of us are at home. We have to stay home because there are guidelines that are being set up by our governments and our governors. And some of us in states have a lot more freedom and others of us in some other states don't. And with that being said, with more people at home, with more people trying to keep their distance and stay safe, it's creating a unique situation for the sister wives. Obviously, with what's been going on, it's making a lot of people bored and irritated and all of that. But imagine being Kody Brown and having four ladies with 4 homes and a lot of kids that are still in his he's technically still responsible for, that are not adults yet. And then trying to manage the requirements in the state of Arizona, which the state of Arizona basically is what is called shelter in place right now, which is much like what's going on in Minnesota as well. We can't really leave the house unless it's for essential things. And they're even asking us to limit that at this point in time. So he's facing this unique challenge right now of trying to make sure that he spends as much, like that he is not in a situation where they are spreading germs to one another, let's just say. And because of that, he has had to make the choice to be in this quarantine with one woman, okay? Now, he hasn't said who that one woman is, but I can tell you with certainty, it's not Mary, because in a recent interview with Us Weekly, and that's where I'm going to get a bunch of this information, she said that she is alone right now and she's been spending a lot of time alone. However, her dog, her daughter's dog, so Mariah's dog, is with her, Mosby. And I'm not sure, but she shared a photo from outside of her house that might have been Mariah. So I don't know if Mariah is with her as well right now. So Kody is not staying with Mary. Obviously, the two of them do not stay together. Then you've got Christine, who I know he's not staying with Christine, and let me tell you why. This is a unique story. So one of my subscribers is in Christine Brown's LLR like selling page where she sells her clothes. And she said that Christine was live a few days ago and she was doing one of her sales. And while she was doing one of her sales, Kody called her and asked her for celery. Okay. So apparently Kody really has this like affection for celery. And he is kind of obsessed with it. And so he was over there looking for celery and asking if anyone had celery at the house. Okay. So he called and then he said, okay, Christine had some. And so he wanted to stop by. And so while she was continuing to sell her leggings and all her tops, Kody swung by, he picked up the celery, and she didn't go outside, but she sent the kids outside. So she sent her girls outside. So he is not staying with Christine. Okay. And we also know he is not staying with Janelle, because in an interview with Us Weekly, Janelle said this: I really think it would have been easier to deal with being in the situation if we were all under one roof, because we were having to be so separate. We have to limit family gatherings. And if we were together, our exposure would be one less person going to the grocery store instead of doing it for separate households. There would be more camaraderie. Basically insinuating that Janelle is also by herself, you guys. Janelle is by herself. So of course, Kody is with the only wife he actually has a relationship with. Let's be honest. He is with Robin. That's like deductive reasoning, right? He hasn't said who he's with, but it's sort of deductive reasoning. So Janelle wishes they all lived in one house, because she doesn't like the fact that Kody isn't with her and that she can't be with Kody and Kody can't be with his kids. Because if you think about it this way, Janelle still has 4 kids. Wait, Logan's gone. No, not Logan. Yeah, Logan. 2 kids at home. Yeah, 2 kids at home. Christine actually has 4 kids at home, I think. Yeah, 4 kids at home for Christine, because Aspen is gone, and so is McKelty. No, McKelty is Christine's daughter. So Christine's 2 oldest are gone. She's got 4 at home, and Janelle's got 2 at home. But those 6 kids are not hanging out with mom and dad right now. Or dad, because dad is over with Robin. Okay. So Robin is the one that gets Kody, of course, right? Because Kody doesn't care about anyone but Robin. So here's what they all had to say about the social distancing. Mary said, my typical schedule involves a lot of travel, and I always feel blessed when I get to be home more than a little bit of time. Luckily, I'm able to work from home, so this doesn't feel out of the norm for me at this point. I'm limited where I go in my daily errand running, and I'm not seeing much of the rest of the family because we're all social distancing. So it's a little weird that we can't all get together, but we know it's the best to stay in our individual homes. So they're not spending any time together. They're not having any family gatherings. And then Robin said, since we're staying so distant from each other, we need to make phone calls and find our ways to stay in touch as much as possible, like video chat or sending care packages. That's one of the things I'm noticing. I'm talking to my family more because I have the time and because we're all worried right now. So she says they're worried right now. She says they're spending more time video chatting, okay? And then, let me find the other one. So Kody had some stuff to say. So Robin just doesn't ever want to rock the boat. I feel like she doesn't want to be like, yeah, I'm totally like social distancing with blah, 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 blah. So this is what Kody had to say about it. So Kody says that normal life has ceased. Normal life has ceased for me and my wives and our family. We're all working from home. However, some of us are not able to do necessary travel for work, and some of our entire industries are shut down. 2 of my wives run an online business, so they are still working remotely, but they aren't able to do some of the in-person tasks they normally do. Overall, there's been some setbacks and some things have slowed down significantly. So we know when he's talking about like the online stuff that Mary and Janelle are still selling, but Mary and Christine are still doing their online businesses, but she is not able to actually travel at this time, obviously. And Mary was like couldn't go on a cruise because her cruise actually got canceled. Can you imagine literally being on a cruise right now? No, thank you. You should just be glad that you were not on that cruise, Mary. Okay. So then he goes on to say, hold on a second. He said that they're obsessed with the conversations about it. So, oops. Why is this? Pictures. Why am I at pictures? Sorry, I had it up and then it wasn't up. I'll grab it really quick here. Okay. So when Janelle was more, okay, so let's get back to what Kody said. I'm like totally lost here. Okay, so Janelle wants like to spend time. They want to be in their house, right? They want to be like all in one place. And Kody's like, dude, we can't be in one place because blah, 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 blah. So let me just, oh, you guys, this is so dumb. So Kody says that things have gotten boring. Okay. So he says, we're still in contact and talking a lot, but because nothing is going on in our lives, life has gotten a bit boring. There's not much to discuss other than checking in on the kids who are doing school from home. So he says that when they're doing their family talks, they're not even really talking about anything other than the kids. And they're doing these like video conferences over the phone, but then they spend a lot of their time obsessively talking about what's going on with the current status of the situation that's been going on in the world, okay? And he said it's become sort of obsessive, an obsessive conversation as a whole. So we know he's with the favorite wife. They're not really talking, which is kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing going on in the world, so they have nothing to talk about. Imagine that. Imagine your whole relationship just being like, well, there's nothing really going on, guys. So I gotta go. What? Really? You don't have anything more to talk about with your lady friends? And if you're only talking about the kids with the ones that you're not with, that already sort of tells me, Kody, that you don't really have much of a relationship with these ladies at all. Because if you really had something to talk about, you would have the wherewithal to know, like, hey, Christine, how's business? Hey, Christine, let's just talk about life. But, no, we're just going to talk about the kids who are doing homeschooling, which, by the way, to all the mom and dads out there that are doing homeschooling right now and going through the distance education, props to all of you guys. I'm right there with you. It's been challenging, but my kiddo is doing well, and I hope you guys are all doing well too. So Janelle continued that her frustration was because the kids can't spend any time together and they want to see each other, right? So there's no camaraderie. The kids can't spend any time together. Everyone is so separated, which is sort of reigniting this debate about the single house, which I'm like, God, do we still have to talk about the one house, Kody and Janelle? We know that land on Coyote Pass has been plotted in such a way that it will never, ever, ever be one house. It's going to be 4 separate properties, right? So if we know that he has picked to be with Robin, how do you think that makes the other wives feel? Like, obviously, Janelle is irritated. Christine didn't really say anything. I mean, Christine was just like, meh, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, she's just like, I don't really care. Like, who cares? Here's what Christine says. We've been doing embroidering, cross-stitching, and crocheting. So she's been doing more crafting. So Christine says that they're teaching the girls how to do more handiwork. Kody crafting, not yet. I can't imagine him holding a glue gun. We've been making our own products with raw ingredients. We've been really trying not to go to the store. So I even made my own face moisturizer. So, okay, so Christine's being crafty and making stuff, which does that really surprise anyone? Does it surprise anyone that Christine's making her own stuff? And the part of it I think that would probably be irritating for Janelle is I get the sense that Janelle actually relies a lot on Christine for a lot of the stuff with the kids. I feel like Christine is the cook. Christine has been the maternal figure. Even Janelle this past week admitted that she wasn't very maternal with her kids and that she was mostly like that her daughter Maddie is a better like mother or a more engaged mother than she was. And when I was reading the Sister Wives book, I was reading Janelle's chapter and her talking about how she would get all of these benefits of having children, but she talked about always being very career minded and work minded. And so the benefit of being in a plural family would mean that she could still achieve her dreams of working and ensure that her family was being raised within the like comfort of her own home. And when they all lived together in Lehigh, it was Christine that was doing the child rearing, the homeschooling, everything. And that's probably why Christine doesn't want to go back to living in one house. I mean, can you blame her? If they go back to one house, you know that Christine, all of that's going to fall back on Christine, right? I mean, maybe not. Robin would maybe not care if Christine raised her kids because they've never lived in one house. But I know Janelle would be like totally on Christine again and maybe even Mary. So I feel like with her standing down and like with her being like, I'm not going to do this. I don't want to do this. And then Janelle's like, see, again, this would just be why living together under one roof would make everything so much easier, you guys. It would make this all so much easier. I would not have to do anything. I keep saying this out loud, but run, Christine, run. Of all the wives, Christine is 100% my favorite. She is spicy and sassy, and she tells it like it is, and I love her. So I just want her to break free. And she's got family members that have left, so she wouldn't be by herself if she left. So Christine, psst, if you're watching, leave. Okay, so I want to know before we go, what are your thoughts? Like, what do you think about Kody? Oh, wait. White Rose, who recently just became a member, says Christine doesn't want to take care of everyone's kids. Absolutely. Yep. So you're hearing me. So what are your thoughts are? Do you think that it's just quarantine that has Kody with Robin, or do you actually think he spends time at any of the other people's houses? Because we know he doesn't at all hang out at Mary's house. So is it just that they're pretending right now that they're all just like, yeah, I'm only with Robin, but I'm not really going to say that. Like, do you think that he literally spends the night over at Christine's house? Or do you think he's just like literally always at Christine's? Because I had someone who lives in the Flagstaff area say that the rumor in the area was that Kody is almost always at Robin's house. His car rarely leaves her place. He's not seen with the other wives. They were even saying there's rumblings of Mary stepping out with people, but that's all, again, a rumor. Oh, Ermac says he only cares about ugly Robin. And Tina over on Facebook says he only stays at Robin's. We're doing a joint stream right now with Facebook, so thank you guys so much if you're hanging out with me on the Facebook side, trying to get more views over there. Kelly says, I don't understand why they're so scared to leave. Isn't that what Robin did with her first husband? She did. She did leave her first husband. And I do think part of that is that she might leave him again. I mean, she could leave eventually. Linda Green says, Christine is my favorite as well. She's awesome and a beautiful person. She should have time to herself and not have a mother and not have to mother and be the housewife for the gazillion people. I agree. I feel like they probably resulted in a lot on here. White Rose again. I said, I think Kody visits Janelle and Christine during the day, but mostly spends the night with Robin. Mary is written off. I think you're right there too. And then Monica over on Facebook says, let's be realistic. Kody is only a husband to one, and that's Robin, and the others are mistresses. Absolutely. Absolutely. Erica over on Facebook says, I think he spends most of the time at Robin's. I do too. And then Alistair over on YouTube says, Kody is a control freak. That is what I'm getting, and they should all run for the hills. Halika says, Robin will never leave. She's the first wife now, and she loves her status. I agree with this 100%, Halika. I agree with you 100%. 100 million times percent. Lake Effect Planner. Ooh, I like that. Says, he stays where the littlest kids are. Christine's kids have outgrown his attention. Aw, but Truly is like she's like 9. Only 30 thumbs up. Come on, people. We should be able to do better than that. Hey, thanks, Tammy. Everyone, give this a thumbs up. Yay! Susan says, Christine wouldn't have to take care of everyone's kids. Robin isn't going to let someone else take care of her kids, little ones, and no one else has little kids. Yep, I agree with that too, Susan. She's the one that has the youngest. Another one of my members, Stacy, says, I think Christine is okay seeing Kody less and less. I do too. I absolutely think so too, Stacy. I am. And Lacey says, clearly he's at Robin's, not rocket science here. LOL, she's the favorite. Ooh, I love your mask on your photo, Lacey. That's super cute. And I wonder if she'll leave if the money stops from the show. Will Kody be able to provide? Tina over on Facebook, I wonder these things too. Like, will he be able to provide? Would he be able to provide? These things I do not know. And then finally, let's get one more. If Robin is pregnant, we're going to get Kody complaining about money yet again. Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation around if, in fact, she is pregnant. But I can say I don't think so. I really don't think she's pregnant, you guys. I feel like they're not that good at lying. They're really not. They're not. And then Linda says, thanks for the shout out. I love your channel. Totally think he's into Robin most now. Anyways, you guys are welcome. This new format with StreamYard is so much fun because I feel like I can engage with you guys, let you guys know I'm seeing what you're saying, and do all that stuff. Jonna says, I wonder if one of the conditions of being on this season was Mary not to leave. I don't know that the season and the filming necessarily matters if someone leaves, because I don't think it would matter for the show. I mean, think of the drama it would create for the show for Mary to leave. I think the reason she does stay is because of that ingrained belief within this world that if you leave, their celestial kingdom is going to be ruined, and that, she'll go and she'll not go with her family into the afterlife, and she's going to lose all of her relationships with every single person. That's a big thing to take on. And then Mrs. Ward on YouTube says, unfortunately, I think I can understand why Mary would be hesitant to leave. No more family of any sorts. I don't think her own daughter would even talk to her. And I agree. This is exactly what it is. Everyone, check out Mrs. Ward's comments. If you guys know anything about polygamy, leaving is a really big deal, and it means shunning. And I know this because I've had the opportunity to speak with Sound Choices Coalition, which is an advocacy group and a polygamy education group that helps people really understand sort of the pitfalls and the very serious things that happen with polygamy. And one of those things is if you do leave, you lose everything. And when I asked this group if Mary would stay because she didn't want to leave people, they said 100%. And Donna at Boogaloo Buys or Boogaloo Buys says, I wouldn't be surprised that there ends up being a spin-off show about Mary leaving the family. You never, ever know. You never know. This is awesome. I'm getting a good turnout over on Facebook too, which is amazing because my Facebook parties have been a lot smaller. So I'm glad to see it growing over on the Facebook side. Okay. Kelly Mills wants to know, why would he be upset about Robin being pregnant? He keeps saying he wants more kids. I don't know that he would actually be upset. I think he wants more kids. And I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility that he brings in another wife, you guys. I think if there was another wife that wanted to come into the family and it would be okay with everyone else, he would do it. And then someone is correcting me and saying that Christine doesn't have 4 kids at home. Her son left 2. Okay, so she's got 3 kids at home. Thank you, Gretchen Van Raken Blanchard. Whoa. Blanchard, are you, I wonder if you are friends with Gypsy and Christy. I know a bunch of Christy Blanchards. I just talked to Christy Blanchard, Gypsy Rose Blanchard's stepmom last week, and a bunch of her family members and friends said that they were following me. Anyways, Courtney over here and Facebook says, I would love to see Mary leave. Escaping the Faith and Escaping the Prophet got canceled. Unfortunately, maybe it could be Escaping Kody. You know, and Gretchen says, nope. Okay, thanks for letting me know. And Kathy says, I do not think Kody provides much at all to the women. They seem to have jobs. I think it's the wives that provide most of the women. And that's how it works in these communities. The men don't really provide for their families. They don't contribute to the households. These women are basically single wives or single mothers, and they contribute everything to their families. So this has nothing to do with Kody at all being providing. B Carb says, I think he would bring in another wife regardless of what the other wives think. What Kody wants, Kody gets. Yep, very true. I agree with that. I still think he had Robin buy the house by Kody Pass so that he could take a 5th wife. This is a really good thought process, JJ. And I do think, and your cat in your picture is so adorable, by the way. But when he bought that property, they also brought the adjacent plot next to it. So that wouldn't surprise me either. They get state aid. He doesn't need to provide much. This I actually don't know about. I think if they are I think it would be hard for them to receive state aid, especially given their like very open and sort of like omnipresent amount of like public exposure they have. They do have a company, which I'm assuming is where the money for the show goes, and then it's dispersed to the different wives. But I highly doubt, with the size homes that these people have, if there's any state aid that's being given to these ladies. All right. And Ermax says, wow, I didn't know that the rules that the wives provide financial support. Wow. And I know this because we had Melissa Ellis on the channel about a few weeks ago, who was from the Order, the Kingston clan, who was the group featured on Escaping Polygamy. And she talked about how the fathers are basically absentee fathers. The leader of the group, actually, you know, he said that he provides for his family because he buys them a sack of potatoes every month. So the idea that the fathers are super involved and engaged with their kids is pretty minimal, because they're spread so far out. There's so many kids to take care of. They don't have time. And this is probably why, like Christine's like, get me away. And this is probably why Robin always says, my kids. Have you ever noticed that? That's how they refer to their kids. My kids. Like, you're just sort of the donor. Like, you donated this and these are my kids. Jenny says, I seem to never catch your lives, but I'm glad I finally am enjoying your content. It's a great distraction. I am so glad. And Gretchen, back to you, says, Robin looks miserable with him. I think she likes him the least. I don't think that she is happy anymore. I really don't think that Robin is at all happy at this time. Yes. So a sack of potatoes. Yes, a sack of potatoes. So on one of the episodes in Escaping Polygamy, 2 of the girls talked about how, I think it was Jessica and her younger sister, talked about how they left the Order. And when they left the Order, they said that they were trying to petition, and they were like 14 and 15 years old, and they didn't want to go back. Okay. And so they ended up going to court. And when the court asked David, who is their father, how he supports them. He literally told the judge, I give you a sack of potatoes, and that's how I support my kids. Think about that. Now, this is interesting. They say Robin didn't want to move. Kody took away her security and status. Are you talking about leaving Las Vegas? Because I think they ended up moving to Flagstaff because of Robin, because her son decided to go to school in Flagstaff. All right. This has been a really awesome turnout too. Yes, on Facebook, we have 555 people watching right now. And we've got like 70 over on Facebook, that's huge for Facebook. I'm really happy to see this. All right. Heather says, I would throw the sack of potatoes at him. That is shocking. And Blonde says, is escaping polygamy coming back? It is not. However, we have connections to that group. Who do we know? We know Melissa Ellis. So I'm hoping that we can get Melissa back for a chat about all things. We might be able to do like a question and answer kind of thing. But this has been super fun. I'm going to get going so that this can be replayed and watchable, so it's not super long for everyone. But thank you guys so much for hanging out and participating in the last half of the chat. And tell me, are you surprised that Kody is quarantining with Robin? And are you surprised? Are you not surprised? And do you think any of the other wives care besides Janelle? All right, so guess what, you guys? I just bought on Kindle the Duggars book about their parenting advice. And I thought we could talk about some of their parenting advice from the book, The Duggars 20 and Counting, Raising One of. And then another idea I had was, you guys have been loving Amy Duggar King, and we've had some really tough, hard-hitting conversations. And I thought, we haven't had a lot of like girl talk, fun talk lately. And you know that Amy runs a store, 3130. It's a boutique, and she's got clothing for all sizes of women and different programs and options. I thought we could do a spring trends, what's trending this spring with Amy. And she just let me know she wants to do it. So I'm going to set up a time for her to come on, and we can do what's trending with Amy so that you guys can find out how to be cute while still under quarantine, right? Maybe you even have those things in your closet as it is. All right, you guys, I will be back later with more. Bye.